Hi and welcome. Here's a quick question for you. Do you ever struggle with fingerstyle arrangements? Do you find that they're too complicated, that you try and learn them and it just becomes a big mash of notes? It's confusing, the melody isn't clear and you really struggle. And sometimes the chords are just too darn difficult to play. If so, I'm going to give you a little lesson on stripping back fingerstyle arrangements. It's such a key lesson for so many people because I'd say 90% of people out there struggle to play a lot of arrangements that you see on YouTube and in books and stuff like that because there's just too much going on. And here's some key points. Okay, the first one that I want to give you then is focus on the melody. So many people play a fingerstyle arrangement but you can't hear the melody. I remember watching a program called Guitar Star many years ago. George Benson, the great jazz guitarist, was one of the judges, and a guy came on and he played, I think it was Autumn Leaves, like a jazzy arrangement of it. And he was showing all the judges, it was very much like American Idol or X Factor, showing all the judges his arrangement. And you know what? George Benson looked at it and went, that's pretty good, but you could make it so much better. And the guy who created this arrangement, you could tell he put so many hours into putting it together. He was a brilliant guitarist, but the arrangement was just too busy, too complex. And George said, just go home, strip it back, let me hear the melody. You're overthinking it, you're overcomplicating it. Strip it back and play with the technique you have and really let's hear the melody shine. So the guy went back, he did it, he simplified it, he come back, played it, and that time it was so much more powerful. It was simpler but more powerful because he focused on the melody. He didn't focus on trying to be clever, adding in all the chord tones and all that sort of stuff. That stuff can come later, but until the melody is sorted, you can't really do that because otherwise you're just burying the song. It's kind of like, you get your song and you put it under 6 feet of dirt, okay? Why do that? You want to be able to hear it. You don't want your speaker underground here. You want to be able to hear it nice and clear. So that's one of the key things, let that melody shine. The second thing you want to always do, okay, is try to make sure the bass note's going on. A lot of people will play a melody, here's a little arrangement from one of my Christmas tunes, okay? Well, it's not one of my tunes, but it's an arrangement I created for, see if you can recognize the song. Okay, see if you know that. That's just the first 4 bars of Good King Wenceslas. Okay, really cool song, really nice, beautiful Christmas song, really uplifting. And you know what? It's that time of year. We're getting closer to Christmas, so I'm allowed to talk about this sort of stuff. So please don't shoot me, okay, just because I mentioned Christmas in November, which I know a lot of people get annoyed by. But the thing is, if you're a guitarist or a musician, you need to practice your songs in November, your Christmas songs anyway, maybe even earlier on in the year if you want to get them ready for Christmas. It's never too early. I had a student who used to practice Jingle Bells on a nice summer's day in July, 30 odd degrees, and it was just like playing Jingle Bells. I was like, this is cool, but I know exactly why you're doing it. You can hear the melody there. What did I do? Did I overcomplicate the chords? Did I try and throw in loads of jazzy chord changes and loads of big 4 chord shapes? No, if you watch my fingers, for the D chord, which is what we're starting off with, I'm literally just playing a melody note and an open D string on the bass. Okay, and there's a nice slide to give it expression. But there's no chords going on there, and that's part of what I call the no-chord fingerstyle method. I'll talk about that more in a moment, but it's literally just the melody. Okay, and I'll teach it you now if you want to learn it. It's just fret 3 of the B string with the open D, 3 again, and 3 again, and then slide up to 5 of the B string. Okay, then we go back to 3 with the open D, and again, and then we do 2nd fret of the G to resolve that bit of the melody. Okay, but you can hear there's no real big full bass. If I was to try and play that with a full D chord, or even with the bass, say like this, it just becomes clunky and awkward, and I have to cut some notes short. Can't really have that expressive slide in there either. So that's key thing. Keep the bass simple. Okay, just have open bass strings where you can, or let the bass ring out. It's very, very essential, because if you don't let the bass ring out, you get this. Okay, that's really stilted. I exaggerated that, but you can see what I mean. You gotta let those bass notes ring out. Okay, it's an open string, so all I've got to do is just literally pluck the open D, let it ring out. Don't accidentally put my finger on that string with my thumb, because that will kill it. And some people do that without realizing, okay? Even when we get to bar 3, where we play the G chord, there's a G, an A, and then a D in bars 3 and 4. So there's 3 different chords there. Now, if you used to play that with those big normal chords, it would sound like that. And that's okay if you're singing the melody, you know, you'd want to play a full chord. But here, you know, I'm just outlining the chords with the bass. The G, you could say it's trickier because you've got a fretted bass note. But as long as you keep that finger down, you know, it will ring out. And you get that bass flowing throughout, okay? So bar 3, all we got is that 3rd fret low E, open G, open B. Then I'm keeping that middle finger on that 3rd fret low E to keep the bass note ringing out, like I say. And as I do that, I'm bringing my index finger down to 2nd fret of the G string, plucking that. Then I take all my fingers off for the open B. I'm allowed to do that because it's just, well, I'm allowing myself to do that, I should say. No one's given me permission, you know what I mean? But I'm doing that, taking all my fingers off because it's just for one note for the open B, and it helps me transition to the A, which is the A, open A string, and 2nd fret of the B. Okay, so we got, and then bar 4 is just open D with 3rd fret B, and then 3rd fret B again. So 6 plucks there. Okay, you can hear the notes are ringing out, they're not being cut short. You know, it's not this. Although there is a time and a place for staccato and cutting notes short. I quite like to do it when I'm building up tension towards the end of a piece. You know, you can do that. You can intentionally cut notes short, but that's a bit more advanced. You know, just builds up tension. You won't want to do it all the time, okay? Because it sounds a bit. It's just a, you know, it's just a little trick you do here and there, okay? But that's a little bit on my no-chord fingerstyle method. We're just literally stripping everything back. So we play the melody, and you can just play the melody on its own. Practice just the melody on its own in a nice simple way, but it sounds a bit weak, you know. It's really good for practicing techniques and stuff like that, but you wouldn't want to perform it like that. You'd want to add in some bass. And those simple bass notes go a long way. Now, is this the most fancy arrangement in the world? No. Is it the most complicated? No. But the idea is that it's just going to build your confidence and get you playing some really nice recognizable music where you've got those 2 parts, the melody and the bass. And then later on, you can always bring in the extra stuff, okay? You can always bring in the extra chord tones, a little filler notes and stuff like that, and the fancy stuff, little flicks and embellishments. You know, for instance, a little bit later on in the tune, we got bar 10, which is this. That's bar 10, 9, 10, 11, and 12, but bar 10, there's a nice little flurry, a little hammer on and pull off, where you could simplify it, you don't have to do that. This would be the basic melody with the bass note. Now, this would be it with the embellishment. Okay, so it'd be like, you know, it just sounds a bit more fancy, a bit more fun, but you start simple, and that's what I teach in the no-chord fingerstyle arrangements that I do. Okay, I teach them in a variety of places, but being as though it's Christmas, we've got a course coming up right now. That's available to you and it's on offer this week. It's called Christmas Crackers, okay? Really fun little course. I'm teaching a whole variety of classic Christmas songs that you could play in the no-chord fingerstyle way. So you can build your confidence, play the melody, add in the bass notes. Next year you could always revisit it and add a little bit more in. The year after you can add a bit more in or learn one of the other arrangements. So you can build it up. So it's a course that you can use forever. And that's one of the really cool things about learning Christmas songs, because most people don't practice them all year round. But every year you practice them, you'll notice that, oh, I'm just that bit better than I was last year, or I'm quite a lot better than I was last year. This song is just so much more easy for me to play this year than it was last year. So it's a really nice way of measuring your progress, actually, with Christmas songs, just because of that big gap you have from practicing them. So I've had that a lot of times with my students, where over the years we've just seen that big progress, and they're like, oh man, this is so cool. Because when you're in the moment and you're practicing, it's not always that obvious to see the progress yourself. Anyway, if you want to check out the Christmas Crackers course, it comes with some really cool bonuses and some amazing stuff. So check it out. You can go to fingerstyle101.com/crackers and you can enjoy that. Right. Thank you so much for watching. If you don't hear from me, then have a great Christmas. But you know you're going to hear from me because I'll be doing videos regularly. Right. Okay. But enjoy your Christmas and enjoy the rest of November first. Right. If you enjoyed this, check out this video as well. Right, thanks. Bye bye.